My name is Lila, and I have a disability called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, also known as POTS. It's a type of dysautonomia, which basically means that your autonomic nervous system doesn't function correctly. For those who don't know, the autonomic nervous system is what controls the functions we don't have to think about, like breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, etc., etc. So that stuff doesn't work for me, generally. The biggest deal for me is that my heart rate is generally too high and my blood pressure is too low. The average heart rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute. Sitting, I'm usually on the higher side, usually between 85 and 100, usually somewhere in the 90s. And standing, I can get upwards of 100 and teens, 120s, which is not normal. POTS is really hard. It's really tough to manage. But fortunately, I've gotten a lot better since I was in high school when I was diagnosed. I'm on medication to raise my blood pressure, and I'm on Adderall to help with my additional diagnosis of ADHD, and that all makes my life a lot easier than it would be if I didn't have those medications. But it's still really, really challenging. So I'm going to try and document my general day-to-day. Kind of just living my life and seeing the adjustments that I make compared to people who don't have dysautonomia or POTS. Yeah.
Well, I built me her raft and she's ready for flow. Oh, Mississippi, she's calling my name. Catfish are jumping, that paddle wheel bumping. Black water keep rolling on past just the same. Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon.
Going to class and being in class can be tough, both physically and mentally. Focusing takes a lot of effort for me, and sometimes I can just get drained to the point where I'll have to leave because I won't be able to put in my best effort. I do my best to pay attention to lectures, work with my peers when necessary, take notes, whatever. But sometimes it's just too much. Painting my nails is one of my favorite activities. Because I like being artistic. I'm not very good at drawing or painting or anything like that. But I've always loved nail polish, basically ever since I was like 12 or 13. I have a huge collection, or huge by lots of people's standards. I have almost 80 bottles. And it's something I can do while sitting down and allows me to have some creativity. But, I don't know, it's fun. I need to consume more salt than the average person. Typically, a diet should consist of 3 to 5 grams of sodium per day. I need to get 5 to 10 grams. Because that will help retain water, which will help my blood function better. It can be difficult getting enough sodium because I have a small stomach, so I don't eat a whole lot, typically. And sometimes I get food averse or nauseous and I just don't eat at all. So I will supplement with things like hydration multipliers, like liquid IV. I use a thing called Noon that does the same thing.
Gatorade, things like that. Also, salt tablets. But yeah, just need to get all that salt in there. Some days I'm just so exhausted and drained that I just can't get out of bed. So when I feel like that on school days, I will email my professors and see if I can join online if I feel well enough, or just not go. Fortunately, my professors are all super accommodating and will often let me join via Zoom or Teams and whatever. And I will go to class from bed and do what I can and try to pay attention as best as possible. Sometimes it's difficult, but I do what I can. As I just got out of one, I think now is an appropriate time to talk about showers. And in conjunction, talk about spoon theory. Because my heart rate doesn't function properly, my blood pressure doesn't function properly, the blood in my body just tends to sink, specifically into my legs and into my feet. So, and for those of you who've taken biology, you know that with heat, things expand. So, or things dilate, I should say. I have to be careful with hot temperatures, especially hot water, because the blood will leave my head to go to my feet, and then I can get dizzy and potentially pass out. So I try to make my showers as short as humanly possible, and I try to sit when I can, if there's a seat or if there's a convenient spot on the floor if I need to. So I'm going to touch on spoon theory a little bit. Spoons are the amount of energy you have in a day. They are visualized that way. Certain things in the day cost a certain amount of spoons for you. It's different for everybody. 1 spoon could be getting out of bed. 2 spoons could be taking a shower. 3 spoons could be going to the library and doing homework. So you reserve your spoons for what you deem most important so that you can do those things the most often. For me, I reserve my spoons for homework, spending time with people I care about, and, other necessary things like chores I have to do, walking, exercising, going from place to place, talking to people, having meetings, any of those number of things. Those are what my spoons go to on a daily basis. And sometimes I don't have enough left over to shower, to hang out with people, to get up and feed myself, take care of myself. I have emergency snacks because sometimes I just don't have the energy to get up and make myself a meal or to get up and go to the dining hall. Thankfully, my friends are very wonderful, and they will often, when they're available, go and get me food if I need it. But sometimes I just subsist off of club crackers. So I hope that makes some amount of sense. Last year, I started taking German at Towson through the Baltimore Student Exchange program. I walk down to the Loop bus stop that's on Southerly Road and take it to Towson, and then take it back after class is over. This walk is very long when you don't feel well. Fortunately, I feel well enough that I can actually make it. It's just damn difficult. I was worried when I first started going to Towson through B-Step that I wouldn't be able to make this walk alone. That I would need help or need a scooter or something. Fortunately, my walking tolerance has gotten better and better, so I can make this walk on a usual day. I don't know exactly how long it is. I think it's like 15 minutes or so to get back to Trustees, where I live. But it feels like the longest walk in the world when I am not feeling.
A hack that I use to get a break is to go through the app and then take the elevator from the first floor to the third floor.
Then I get a little break from walking. I was in class in ethnography of religion, and I had to leave because I just wasn't feeling well. But fortunately, we were watching a movie, and all I really needed to do was lie down, and I can't lie down in class, so I came back. But I have the program we were watching it on. I have Apple TV Plus, so I'm now in bed with some peanut butter because I don't really have an appetite, but I need protein. And I'm watching the movie that they're watching in class, probably right now. So, convenience of technology.
Exercise is a challenge. I'm exercise intolerant and I get post-exertional malaise and fatigue, meaning that if I exercise for too long or too hard, I just feel awful. I try to do strength training, especially with my legs, because stronger leg muscles will help push the blood where it's supposed to go. I don't exercise nearly as often as I should, but I try to do some at least a few times a week. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to just some of my story. If you're interested in learning more about POTS and my experience with it, you can follow me on Instagram at my.pots.journey.